Welcome back, everybody. This is Dr. Eller in the final video of our Spring 2024 MIST application guide. In this particular video, I'm going to walk you through the required documents in terms of what you can provide in them to really put your best foot forward as a MIST applicant. If you have more questions about the Cal State Apply application, I would recommend referring you back to the previous videos in this series that walk you through each quadrant. And of course, you can always run any question about your application by me as well, should there be something very particular to your case that isn't addressed in that video series. Now, with that being said, on our website for both the blended program and the fully online program, we have quite detailed admissions pages that go through a link to these video guides, a link to the application itself, the deadlines, and so on and so forth. What is really important in this is also the actual documentation here. And this, as you scroll through here and down, what you would want to look for is the information about required documents. And this information is identical for either program because naturally both programs share the same admissions requirement. So firstly, when it comes to transcripts, there's always a question around, well, should I include my official transcripts with my application or my unofficial? And in theory, both make sense. For the Cal State Apply application, you would want to include your unofficial transcripts just so that us at the program level, we can review your student record a little bit more quickly. For the university itself, official transcripts will be required for all institutions that you attended, either A, that you reported on your application, or B, are reported on subsequent transcripts that you've included in your application. So let's say you went to Cal State Monterey Bay for your undergraduate degree, but you attended 3 community colleges before completing CSUMB, and all of them are on your CSUMB transcript. Well, then naturally, you would need to include those 3 community college transcripts to ultimately be awarded admission at the university. So that's really a critical component. Now, we recommend having a 3.0 GPA, but the actual CSU requirement for graduate students is a 2.5 or higher. And so you will be considered for admission if you have that 2.5 or higher, though, of course, naturally, a higher GPA only betters your chances at being admitted. If you are a student who obtained a degree outside of the United States or did kind of a high amount of international education through maybe a foreign exchange program, so on and so forth, you would need to include a foreign credit evaluation from a NACCES member. So what I would recommend is searching NACCES or going to NACCES.org and looking at the recommended list of NACCES approved evaluators. We at CSUMB do not have an in-house evaluation service for foreign transcripts. We do use NACCES in terms of NACCES members as approved evaluators for all foreign transcripts. And you would also need to have an English translation of your foreign transcript as well. Okay. For the statement of purpose, this is actually quite simple. The statement of purpose is roughly about a 1,000 to 2,000 word document. So I recommend students think kind of in the nature of around 2 to 3 pages. And you're going to go through why you are interested in the program, how you could see yourself using the degree, what skill sets you bring into the program, how you would benefit your peers, those types of items. So you're looking at how is this academic degree program or the certificate program going to benefit me? Why do I want to go into this program? And something that I tell applicants over the phone all the time is that the statement of purpose, yes, it gives us a sense of your writing. That is important. But what's even more important is getting the sense that you understand what this degree program is and how it would benefit you. We all kind of come to MIST from a variety of backgrounds. There truly is no perfect background for an applicant to our program. But for many of us, what we're looking for is a degree program that serves a variety of different functions. And so if we as program staff and faculty understand that MIST will benefit you, that's one of the strongest forms of a statement of purpose that you can provide. So there's no perfect statement of purpose, but one that does give us an insight into your understanding of MIST and how you would apply this degree program. That is a high quality statement of purpose. Letters of reference or letters of recommendation should come from either a supervisor, it could come from a colleague, it could come from a faculty member or past instructor. There's really no perfect letter of recommendation as well. Generally speaking, given that our degree program is used for folks to progress their careers, I do find it helpful to usually have at least one supervisor providing a letter of recommendation, but it's not atypical for folks who are teachers to have other teachers write recommendation letters, or for people on a team at an organization or corporation to write recommendations, in some cases for their own supervisors and how the MIS program would benefit them. What's important is that we try to stay away from personal recommendations if at all possible. The strongest recommendations are going to be from your employers or from an academic staff member of some kind. Now, you can have your recommenders submit a more traditional letter of recommendation. That is absolutely fine. And that they can send that directly to me. They can send it to you and you can send it to me. Or they can include their recommendation in this recommendation form. And you'll see that as they fill this out, I'll just kind of start it to give you an idea of who or what they would see on this. You can see that they're basically going to, provide information about who they're recommending and who the recommender is. Naturally, I'm just trying to skip over this. But then they would go through these Likert scale questions and rate you on a 1 to 5 scale on a variety of skill sets that we find important for this program. Now, after they would have completed this, let's say you're getting a 5 on every single category, what you would ultimately see is an actual area to provide a written recommendation. And so from there, they would provide a recommendation, in terms of how they know you, what that recommendation is. So they could write, for example, Ryan Eller is has gone through our academic program. These are his accomplishments. That would go in this box. Then they would answer how long they've known you, in what capacity they know you, and what their overall recommendation is from a highly recommended to a do not recommend level. Naturally, most people are picking recommenders who are positive, so we expect most of them to fall somewhere within this without reservation or highly recommend. And it will give us a good sense of you as an applicant if you pick a recommender who can fill out a good detailed recommendation form for you. Now, lastly, the only other thing really to consider is potentially test scores. And this would include things like the GRE. If you want to include it, you can, and we have this ETS code here for you to include a GRE if you so choose. But really the test scores that are more common are tests of English, such as the Pearson test in English, IELTS, TOEFL, so on and so forth. Duolingo is also a great one now because that can be completed online quite quickly. But ultimately, really, that only makes sense for students who study primarily outside of the United States in terms of getting a degree that was not taught primarily in English. Now, all of these application documents can be included in Cal State Apply. I've also noted this in our video guide that many times some of these documents you don't have at time of submission of your application. And so these application documents can be sent to me via email at mist@csumb.edu, or even to my personal email, which is reller, E-L-L-E-R, @csumb.edu. And I can include these on your application should you need a little additional time. And this is very typical for students who want to write a more detailed statement of purpose or want to send in a revised statement of purpose, but most commonly for letters of reference. So hopefully that gives you a good understanding of what these documents are. In terms of admissions kind of requirements, that 2.5 GPA is really, really important. The statement of purpose is also something we're really, really looking for. And your resume being a good, complete overview of what your kind of career has been so far, your different experiences that can benefit you in the program, that is really, really helpful. But it's not atypical for younger students. I was very young when I went to the MIS program to have a very short resume. So I do want students to feel comfortable with the understanding that the resume is probably not the most important item. What is really most important is your transcripts and your statement of purpose detailing your interest in the program, but really the statement of purpose being the highlight item and probably the item worth spending the most time on. So if you have any individual questions about those documents and how you can tailor them best, do not hesitate to reach out. I'd be more than happy to support you with that aspect of your application. And with that being said, I hope you found this video useful and take care.